Hi guys, I welcome you all back to my channel. I am Aisha. In today's video, I will be showing you how to cut and sew extended shoulder yoke with Bustier. Thank you all for your support. God bless you all. If you are new to my channel, kindly click on the subscribe button. Don't forget to turn on your notification bell so that whenever I upload a new video, you will be notified. Stay tuned to the end of the tutorial. From the starting point, I will be taking the length measurement. The bust length I'm using is 10.5. The under bust I'm using is 14.5, but I will be adding half inch to it because this is bust here, making 15 inches. And the waist length I'm using is 17 inches. So you make it a straight line. I will be taking the shoulder measurement, which is 15.5 divided by 2. I will be coming down by 8.5 for the armhole length. So from there, I will take my shoulder measurement there also. So you make it a straight line. So that's our armhole length. Chest line, bust line, under bust, and waist line. So I'll be taking my bust palm. You divide your bust palm by 2. Whatever you have, you divide it by 2. So you make it a straight line. I'm making use of 8.5. I divide it by 2. So you measure it on your bust line, under bust, and the waist line. So from there, I will be taking my dart. I'm making use of 2 inches dart. So you measure your dart at the under bust and at the waist line. You divide your dart into 2. That's 1 inch at the right side, 1 inch at the left side. So you make it a curve. So you come down by 1 inch at the bust line. So you can see I came down by 1 inch. So I draw it to that. I make the curve to the 1 inch. So you can see you curve it to the 1 inch. So at the neck, I'm making use of 3 inches for the width. I came down by 1 inch for the shoulder slope. So you draw it to the neck. That's our shoulder slope. So here you look for the midpoint. Whatever you have, you divide it by 2. So that's our midpoint. You can see. So now I came down by 3 inches for the depth of the neck. So I came down by 3 inches. So you make it a curve. So I'm making use of round neck. For the sweetheart shape, we need to draw a straight line from where we divide our armhole length. That's our midpoint. From that midpoint, you draw a straight line to the center part. And you draw the dart line up to the upper part. So now we need to take our dart. We need to contour the upper part of the bust here. So I'll be making use of 1 inch for the dart, half inch at each side. You curve it to the bust point. You can see how I curve it. You curve it both sides to the bust point with your French curve. For the extended shoulder, so you come to your shoulder part. So I'll be coming down by 3.5. So you make it a straight line to meet the shoulder. So after then, I'll come down from that point. I'll come down by 1.5 inch. And you curve it with your French curve. So you can see from the point where we stop our shoulder before, you curve it to that point. You can see how I curve it. So for our sleeve curve, you can give it whatever curve you wish to give it. So as for me, I curve it that way. You can see the way I curve it. So that's it. So now I will be shaping it. I will be giving it the sweetheart neck. From the waistline, you shape it to the upper part. You can see. I will be taking the circumference measurement. You divide your bust by 4. Whatever you have, you divide it by 4. And you add back the inches for the dart. The 1 inch for the dart, you add it back to it. Same thing at the bust line and at the chest line. At the waistline, you divide your waist by 4 and add back the inches for the dart. So now I will be shaping it. The shaded part is going out. That's the yoke. So now I'll be cutting it out. Very important, when taking your measurement, circumference measurement, make sure you add back your dart that you are cutting out. Make sure you add it back to it so that you won't be short of allowance. So it's very important you add back whatever you are cutting out, you add it back to it. For the armhole curve, you go inward by 1 inch. And you make use of your French curve to curve it. You cut the yoke first before curving your armhole. I will be adding a side dart of 1.5 to it. So you come to your bust line. At the bust line, I will be going downward by 1.5 and I will give it a dart shape to the bust point. You can see to the bust point that way. So that's our side dart. So that part is going out also. So you cut it that way. You won't cut it to the end. And you close the dart this way. You close it and use your mastering tape to hold it down. You can see. So that's the front part. We are done with the front part. So I'm cutting out the neck. For the back aspect, this is our starting point. Now I'll be taking the shoulder measurement, which is 15.5. You divide your shoulder by 2. And I'll be coming down by 8.5, same way we did at the front aspect. That's the armhole length. You make it a straight line. For the length measurement at the back, I'm making use of 10.5 for the bust and 15.5 for the waist length. You don't need the under bust at the back. And the reason for the 15.5 is because we make use of side dart at the front aspect. So you need to minus your side dart from the front waist length, which is 17 inches. I will be taking the bust palm same way we did at the front aspect. 8.5 divided by 2. You make it a straight line. I'm making use of 1 inch for the darts. You divide your darts into 2, that's half inch at each side. Now for the neck, same width, 1 inch for the depth, and you curve it. So now for the shoulder slope, come down by 1 and draw your shoulder slope to the neck. So now we'll be taking the length. We'll look for the midpoint, same way we did at the front aspect. So that's the midpoint. So for the extended shoulder, same way, 3.5, and you draw it to the shoulder part. So I'll come down by 1.5 and curve it the way we did at the front aspect. Same way, you curve it that way with your French curve, and you give it your desired curve sleeve. I'll be shaping it to the center part. You can come down and you can go up. It depends on how you want it. So this is how I want mine. So you shape it, you give it shape. You draw the dart line up to meet the shape. So now we'll be coming up from the bust point by 1 inch for our dart. So you shape your dart to that point. So that's our dart for the back aspect. We'll be taking our circumference measurement. The bust measurement, you divide it by 4, and the waist measurement, you also divide it by 4, and return your 1-inch dart. You return your 1-inch dart. So now I'll be shaping it and give it a armhole shape at the back aspect. So that's our armhole curve. That's the yoke part. And that shaded part is going out. That's the dart, so it's going out. I'll be cutting it out. We have both the front and the back aspect. So you check the yoke, the shoulder part of the yoke of the front and the back aspect if it's equal. So you can see, so you cross check. That's very important. So that's the front and that's the back aspect. I've placed it on the main material. So this is the front aspect and this is the back aspect of it. So you place your yoke on it. I double the yoke. You can see I double it. You fold it into 4. I make use of mesh net. You can see mesh net. You can see, so skin net, also known as skin net. So you make use of it. So you fold it into 4, and when placing it on it, you make sure you had your allowance that you will use in joining it to it. You can see the neck, same thing. I didn't add any inches to the neck, but at the shoulder ran to the bust side, so I had half inch to hit for the joining. So that will be the allowance I will use in joining it. And on the main body also, I had half inch to hit at the side, at the upper part. At the side, you had your inches that you will use for your inseam allowance. You had it to hit at the side, and at the down aspect you had your half inch to hit for the joining. So same thing applies to this, you can see. And this is the back aspect. Same thing applies to the back aspect also. You can see the half inch all around. Same here. The neck is the same. You can see no need of adding any inches to the neck. And for the down part of the back aspect, you can see you had your inches to the side and the zip allowance. So this is the zip allowance, 2 inches, this zip allowance. For the zip to lay very well at the waist and at the back aspect, for us to have a good fitting at the back aspect. That's the reason for me going inward by 1 inch at the waistline. So this is it. So now I will be picking the bustier part first. So I will need to pick this. So you can see I've cut out the lining and the main fabric. So I've add my wording to the back of the main fabric, and I had stay to the back of the lining. So I will need to join it together now. So I will remove the pin. So, and I will pick it one by one. So I will join the bustier together. I will do that. I will join it with a half inch. And same thing applies to the back aspect also. This is the back aspect. So I will join it to the back aspect at the dart, center dart. Here, you know, we cut it here. So this is our dart line. So you join it together here. You can see here, you notch it here. You can see you notch it for it to be equal. So I've notched it here. So I've notched it so it will be equal. So you make sure everything is equal. You place it on each other. That place that you notch, make sure everything is equal. And as for the front aspect also, the under bust, I've notched it. You can see at the under bust, I notch it at the under bust. So you notch it on the lining also. So when joining it together, you make sure those places meet. So the bust on the under bust that you notch, let it meet together. So now I will be joining it together. After joining, I will be showing you. I've joined it together. This is the back aspect. So you can see I've joined it and I've ironed it, both the lining and the main fabric. You can see. So you notch it at the center here. So you can see. So this is it, and iron it. So this is the back aspect, and this is the front part. You can see it. This is it. So I've joined it together, and there is the lining. This is the line you can see. So you iron it, you iron both side and notch it at the under bust. You can see this is the under bust, so I notch it there. So we'll pick the yoke now. So for the yoke, I'll come to the yoke aspect here. So this is where our sleeve stop. This point. So this is where our sleeve stop. You can see. So we'll notch that point where our sleeve stop. We'll notch it a bit on the. So you come here, you notch it. You can see. So you notch it there. So that's where our sleeve stop. So and on the back aspect also you notch it. Same thing applies to the back aspect also. So you can see. So this is it. So this is where our sleeve stop at the back aspect also. So you can see. So this is it. So now I will need to open it and join the yoke together. So I'll open it this way. So I have two pieces of this and I have two pieces of this. So I'll pick one of this. I'll join it from here with the 1/2 inch to this point. You can see. So I'll join it to this point. So let me do that. Same thing applies to this other side. I've joined it at the shoulder, so I pick it one by one. This is the one that we'll be using for the lining, and there is the main one. So you can use any one of it for the main and the lining. So same way I did this. So I joined this also at the shoulder. You can see same thing. So now we need to trim it to the minimum. We'll trim here to the minimum. So we'll trim it. After trimming, I will use it to turn the neck. I will open it this way. So I will be turning the neck. So I will be turning it with it. So I will place it on it this way. You make sure this shoulder meets. So and you turn it. So you make sure this shoulder meets. So I will place sewing on it on the neck all round this way. And at the back aspect here also, I'll place sewing on the back aspect here. So I'll be adding the one I will use for the buttonhole. You know there will be button at the back here. So at the center back, upper part here. So there will be button there. So I will be adding the one I will be using for the buttonhole. I will fold that and I will add it to it when placing the sewing all around. I've sew it all around. This is it. You can see, and I've added the one I will be using for the buttonhole. You can see. So this is it. So now we need to trim it to the minimum. So you trim it to the minimum all around to this side. So let me do that. So you can see. So this is it. So now we'll come to the sleeve side. So you know we notch this side. So here that we notch, you make sure it meets. You can see. So this is where our sleeve starts from the back to the front aspect. It stop here to the front aspect. That's the curve of the sleeve. You can see it. So that's why it's very important you notch it so that you know where your sleeve stop. So now I will need to stitch it here with half inch from this point that I notch to this point that I notch. So you stitch it with half inch to this point. Same thing applies to both side. Same thing applies to this side. So let me do that. So this is it. I'm done with the sewing. You can see it from here to here. So you sew it. So now I will need to trim it. So you won't trim it, just start your trimming from here. You can see. So you just trim it a bit. Same thing applies to this side. So we need to turn it to the front part now. After turning, I will use my iron to iron it. You won't allow your iron, you know this is net, so you won't allow it to be hot. So just for it to straighten all this to look neat. So let me do that. We have it this way, so I've ironed it. You can see how neat it is. You can see it. So this is it. So now I will need to sew this on it. So this is the side and this is this other side. So you pick it from where we stop our sleeve here. So from here, we'll be starting our sewing from here. So I'll pick it this way. From here, you pick the two together. You can see from here like this. So I'll be joining it to hit this way. So I'll come here. So I'll join it to hit from here. You can just use your office pin to hold it down. So use your office pin to hold it down. You see that at the down aspect here is not sharp. You can see the way I cut it. So when cutting yours, don't make it sharp at this down aspect. So you can see it. So now same thing applies to this other side. So now I will need to sew it downward now. I will be placing my sewing on it. Let me do that. I've joined it to it. You can see this is the back aspect and this is the front part. I will be joining the other side to it. To join the other side, you start from the down part. You can see where you stop at the down part. You start from there. So you can see where I'm trying to fix it. So from the down part, you use your office pin to hold it upward. So that way, you hold it with your office pin and sew it. Make sure you hold it with office pin before placing it on your sewing machine. I'll be sewing it. So now I'm done with the sewing. You can see this is it. This is the front part. This is the lining part of it. I'm making use of ready-made cup. I have a video on how to fix your ready-made cup on your lining. So I will be dropping the link below for you to watch. I bend this ready-made cup. I bend it. You can see the way I bend it because of the illusion. That's why I bend it that way. So I've placed sewing on it. I will be joining the lining to the main body. Same way we join the main body. You use your office pin to hold it down and join it that way. I've joined it at the inner part. So let me turn it for you to see. So you can see. So I've joined it at the inner part. You can see it. So no need of notching it if you sew it very well. So that's why you need to use your pin to hold it first before placing your sewing on it. So the same way I join the main fabric, that's the same way I join the lining to it. So this is it. You can see. And at the armhole, you can see I've sewed the armhole in. You can see. So I will advise when placing the pattern on your fabric, add half inch to the armhole. Add half inch to the armhole. So I'll advise you add half inch to your armhole so that you'll be able to, you can see. So this is the armhole. I've sewed the armhole in also. You can see it. So this is it. So now I will be joining the back aspect to it. So I will need to sew it at the side here, and I will join the back aspect to it. So for us to join the back aspect, this is the back aspect. You can see. So this is it. So I will pick the lining and the main fabric. So this is it. So you pick it this way, the right side facing the right side. So first I will sew this armhole this way. So I'll sew the two armhole that way first before placing it on this. So I'll just, after sewing it, I'll place this inside. So I'll place this and sew it to it, and sew the side here also and this side. So let me do that. So this is it. You can see I've turned it. You can see it. So I've turned the inner part of the back aspect, so, and I'm joining it to it. So this is it. This is the zip allowance. So this is our zip allowance. So and this is the front aspect. So now I will need to join it at the down aspect here. But first, I will iron it first before placing sewing at the down aspect here. Same thing applies to the front aspect. So I'll trim out this excess. So I'll be adding this to the sleeve here. So here I'll still need to add this to this the sleeve here. So I'll add it on the sleeve here. So I'll add that later. So let me sew it at the down aspect and iron it, and I'll be showing you the final look. This is the final look. You can see it. So this is it. So make sure everything is laid and neat. You can see how neat it is without adding any applique to it. So you can see the neatness. So this is, you add your stone to design all these front parts. So you use it to design, but without the stone yet, you can see how neat it is. Just make sure everything is neat. You can see this is the back aspect. So this is the zip allowance. So I will be folding this in. You can see. So this is how it will look when we fold it in. You can see it. So this is it. You can see. There's it. So this is the back aspect of it. You can see how neat it is at the back aspect. So this is the back aspect of it. So, and this is the back aspect of the other side of it. So you can see. So that's all about the cutting and sewing of our extended shoulder. If you find this video helpful, kindly give it a thumbs up. If you have any question or suggestion, you can drop it in the comment section below. Kindly subscribe to my channel and make sure it turns on your notification bell so that whenever I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks for watching. Bye.